There was once a kid. He was cheerful, bright, and outgoing. He loved it when he was around people. He had a positive attitude, and he loved helping others. But as he grew, he felt less accepted, and he grew more and more distant and discouraged. Through a series of events in his teenage years, he became more angry, more anxious, and he started hating himself. This initial emotion became concerned when he stopped going out. He stopped going to school and locked himself in his room, hoping for something to happen. What had happened to this kid? Depression. That was what the kid was going through. Mental illness is prevalent in our society today. The World Health Organization defines mental health as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to her or his community. Poor mental health is an ever-growing issue in our society today that has to be mitigated as soon as possible. The WHO also underlines the importance of mitigating poor mental health because it is estimated to be one of the greatest burdens of diseases. Mental illnesses lead to other diseases because it takes a toll on your physical and emotional well-being and motivation. There are several factors that lead to mental illnesses. According to the National Library of Medicine, some of them are genes, family history, past experiences of stress or family abuse, chemical imbalances, brain injury, serious medical conditions, recreational drugs, loneliness, or isolation. Out of these, social relations are the leading factor of poor mental health, encompassing various emotional aspects. This social aspect of a person's health is the most significant yet modifiable factor. Although modern medicine has made advancements and is able to alter a person's brain chemistry, it is not enough. The treatment isn't complete. There is no saying that that person is not prone to that disease again. We are now in need of an efficient, long-lasting cure to this epidemic, and that is companionship. Companionship can decrease mental stress, improve physical and emotional well-being, and can work as a tool to help the mentally ill. Improving social relations through companionship will help a mentally ill person recover. In the context of mental health, companionship goes deeper than friendship. It provides us with a deeper sense of responsibility and connection. It is a bond that binds two people together. So, let's explore this concept. Companionship has 5 main characteristics. The first one is that companionship is voluntary. It can't be forced or compelled. You essentially get to choose who you want to be friends with. This freedom that comes with companionship is a core characteristic that gives an individual responsibility. Companionship is a personal relationship. A person's individual characteristic and their unique personality play a huge role while choosing friends. Sharing similar interests, commitment to a particular social cause, and individual characteristics play a huge role in companionships. Companionship is an emotional attachment. It is an effective bond. When two people are friends, the most significant dynamic that comes into play are emotions. You are, in a sense, emotionally obligated and attached to that person. Expressing emotions is what brings out vulnerability, and that leads to a healthier relationship. Companionship is a mutual relationship. We as humans are relational beings. We cannot survive without each other. Companionship in the word itself predisposes a relationship between two people. A one-sided companionship cannot exist. And lastly, companionship is an equal relationship. It aims to establish a relationship where two parties give equal effort, equal commitment, and equal input. This characteristic of companionship ties all of the characteristics mentioned above. In a relationship cannot and should not be mutual, effective, voluntary, and personal if it is not equally reciprocated. Good mental health lifts mood, increases self-love, avoids feeling of loneliness, and keeps us motivated. On the other hand, poor mental health is closely related to lower levels of self-confidence and low self-esteem. Mentally ill people have a hard time continuing friendships, and they disregard friends more than usual. But it is even more important for them to continue friendships. Having a friend increases self-confidence and builds self-love. A friend who is affirming and complimenting makes that person feel appreciated. A mentally ill person is lonely and he suffers from isolation. Companionship can help resolve that. Whether it is in person or virtual, friendships greatly influence our lives. Friends help us be motivated by keeping us in track. They act as a source of support when times are hard. With all the benefits that it brings, friendships are an investment worth making, especially for people suffering from mental illness. A 10-year-old Australian study found that older people with a large circle of friends were 22% less likely to die than those with fewer friends. In 2006, a study of 3,000 nurses with breast cancer found that women without close friends were 4 times as likely to die of the disease than those with 10 or more friends. This suggests a correlation between social circle and a person's health. A person is healthy mentally and physically if they have a healthy and large social network. But sadly and unsurprisingly, mental illness affects our social networks. People who suffer from severe forms of mental illness have smaller social circles, and they mostly comprise of family members rather than friends. People who have smaller social circles have fewer intimate relationships. And this makes it difficult for them to manage social situations. And in turn, they anticipate rejection from others because of the social negative stigma related to mental illness. A mentally ill person cannot open up. They aren't able to open up and reach out. So, we need to change. What can we do? This leads to our next question. How can we become better companions? According to the Mental Health Foundation, mental health problems are so misunderstood that someone who acknowledges your problem, continues to accept you, and treats you with compassion is doing something extremely important to aid your recovery. Approaching mentally ill people with the same attitude as you would approach someone else, being there to talk and listen to them, giving them practical help, and practicing acceptance and compassion is essential in every relationship. A few effective ways in which we can become better companions are: communicate honesty and genuine feelings. Stand by your words and promises. Be willing to trust your friends. Recognize each other's shortcomings. Practice value and empathy. And lastly, be present. Adopting all of these points into your relationships will help a mentally ill person recover and overcome their difficulties. People with poor mental health often require different things at different times, and friends can provide different things at different times too. So, what is something that we can do? Something that all of us can do, and the most important thing that all of us should do, is to be present. Be present. Talk to them and listen to anything they have to say. Take time to contact them and give them a visit. Help them out practically by doing their groceries or doing their household tasks, maybe clean their houses. The negative stigma associated with mental illness makes it hard for people to open up. So accept them, approach them with an open heart, and treat them equally. Let them know that you are there for them. In an attempt to contribute to this cause in our community, I set out to start an initiative for people to intentionally practice companionship. I met up with the leadership development class to discuss and talk about what our community really needs and what can we do as a class. But the truth is, companionship cannot be forced. It is not something that has a magical formula. But providing an opportunity for companionship to grow was possible. I also had a vision for our class to leave an impact in our community. So we came up with the Peer Mentoring Program. The Peer Mentoring Program is an initiative set to spark leadership, trust, accountability, and companionship amongst Dalat high school students. It primarily aims to build relationship among us. The leadership development class, along with other seniors, can individually mentor or partner up with other upperclassmen to mentor underclassmen. But unfortunately, due to the school locking down, we had to put that on hold. But as part of my project, I worked on it digitally for us to start it up again when things get better. My project comprises of a series of PowerPoints that explain the what, how, and why of peer mentoring. A person who wants to peer mentor can go into these presentations and essentially clearly see the what, hows, and whats of peer mentoring. I hope that this would spark companionship in our community and help people overcome the difficulties. In the beginning, I talked about a little kid. He was lonely, and he was suffering. And that little kid was me. I was suffering. I knew that there was something out there that could help me, something or someone. And that something and someone was a companion. But the tricky part to this problem is that often mental illnesses go unnoticed. It can be mistaken for someone's personality or even just ignored. But that motivates me more to try. And that should motivate you more to try and help change the world. Each and every one of you today has an opportunity to save someone's life. You do not have to spend heaps of money or even do something heroic or miraculous. You just have to reach out. Reach out. Ask a person how they're doing. Sit down with them and talk to them. Give them your time and listen to them. Believe me, you are doing so much more than you think you are. Together, we can make an impact on the world. Together, we can do this. Every person you see today is an opportunity to make a new companion. Thank you.